I am obligated, since you do sub and you do vote, I gotta do the next episode of Spider-Man the Animated Series, the 90s animated series, chat. We're on episode 6 right now, The Sting of the Scorpion. That's what we're talking about. And so we're just going to get into it right now. If you're new here, please let me know if you're a fan of the original show. If you haven't seen it, hopefully this will be entertaining for you, chat. I'm going to try my best to do my interpretation of what I saw yesterday. The details, they're percolating, but some things have been forgotten. This might be the reason, chat, but I'm going to try my best. So, chat, we find ourselves with Peter Parker, and he's trying to get a hot date again for the third time in a row with Felicia Hardy, chat. Felicia Hardy, she will have none of it. You know, she got attacked by giant robots, and was Peter there? No, it was just Spider-Man came at the end of the day to save her. Was Peter Parker there to save her from Dr. Octopus and his giant mechanical hentai arms? No, it was Spider-Man, not Peter Parker. And now, chat, she's like, listen, you 2 strikes and you're out with me, okay? And you don't get a 3rd strike, not even that. Like, Peter, I appreciate you tutoring me in physics and the sciences and things, but I want nothing to do with you. I mean, I like you as a friend, as a colleague, as an acquaintance, but I am not interested in this. Even though she was smacking on him in front of Flash Thompson, chat, in episode 3, Revenge of the Spider Slayers, but again, he abandoned her. He abandoned her, and Spider-Man saved the day and saved her. She's like, I want nothing to do with you, Peter. No, thank you. And so he's like, he's trying to. This is Peter Thirsty Parker today, and he just wants something, okay? Even though he has Mary Jane who's thirsting after, he's like, nah, he doesn't want that. Too easy. He wants Felicia. Much more in the blondes, chat, than redheads at this point, which makes sense. Which makes sense, I guess, for him. He was into Gwen Stacy before he was into Mary Jane Watson, so whatever. He's got a type, chat. But he notices, like, his spider sense is going off. And he looks behind him, and there's this really creepy-looking Schmeagle Gollum man who's following him. He's like, what the hell are you doing? And he runs off. She's like, who the fuck was that? And Felicia, she just keeps talking about how she doesn't want to date Peter. So, Peter, I don't want to fuck you, okay? But he's already gone. She turns around to Peter. And she's screaming, chat. She's like, oh, now she wants Peter Parker, of course. She likes to play the game, chat. And Peter's like, I want nothing to do with that game. But now, Peter, he's changed his clothes. He's now Spider-Man, chat, and he's looking after what happened to that creepy Schmeagle man who was following me. But during this chat, he comes upon a fucking robbery, a burglary even. And they got all these ill-gotten goods, chat, and they have their laser guns because the censors, like, only WB can use guns. Everyone else, you get laser guns, okay? You can't use bullets. And so he webs up this one guy, and he's kind of mean, chat, because he pulls off, like, the mask of one of the robbers. He goes, Jesus, you are ugly. Which he goes like, oh, come on. Insult to injury. Already webbed him up. He's going to go to jail for at least, 10 to 15 years for burglarizing this place? Possession of probably a legal weapon. That's at least another, 8 years? So he's going to prison for at least 20, chap. This guy is fucked. He's like, Spider-Man goes, you're also ugly too. Jesus. And so these guys are like, oh, fuck, it's Spider-Man. And so they all start firing at Chad. I like the animation. They're like, okay, we're going to take a break after the Mysterio episode because he was fucking fighting goblins and Tyrannosaurus Rexes. It's like, let's just kind of have him move to the side to avoid the lasers and move that way to avoid the lasers. And you have, they have the dialogues like, oh, you missed me. You missed me again. Oh, you missed me. It's like all that shit. They're like, oh, Spider-Man. But Spider-Man, he webs all these guys up, chat. And, he's like, well, it was inconvenient because I wanted to date Felicia Hardy and everything. Now, we get again, guys. Thank you for the hype. Thank you so much for the strong support tonight. I really do appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the review so far. He's like, well, didn't work out with Felicia. But at least I got these pictures. I can get paid tomorrow. It'll be good for the Daily Bugle. Gonna put these in there. And then we see the Schmeagle man. And he's watching. Always watching that Schmeagle. And then, chat, we cut to the next day, and Peter, he's giving these photos to Robbie Robertson, chat, who's a big proponent for Spider-Man. He loves Spider-Man. He's like, Peter, I don't know how you get these pictures, but they are fantastic. I love them. You do great work, Peter. House School. Robbie, always interested to see what Peter's doing right now. He's just not a money man, chat. He legitimately cares about Peter Parker, and I appreciate that from Robbie. And JJ's like, fuck him. He comes in there. He's like, yeah, how do you get those pictures, Peter? Are you in cahoots with Spider-Man? How do you do it? And Peter's like, I'm not going to reveal that. And Robbie's like, leave him alone, JJ. Just leave him alone. JJ's like, I'm not going to leave him alone, Robbie. And Peter, he ducks out. He's like, I'm not going to deal with that. But then, chat, when he's passing by in the hallway, he's going to go pick up his big fat check. He sees the Schmiegel Man, the little Schmiegel Man. And he's walking into J. Jonah's office, chat, J. Jonah Jameson. He's like, what the? It's the Schmiegel Man that was following me. And he goes over to the door, and then he hears the conversation, chat. And J. Jonah Jameson, he hired the Schmiegel Man, who is in fact Mac Gargan, chat. It's Mac Gargan to follow Peter Parker. Because JJ, he believes that Spider-Man is in cahoots. Peter Parker's in cahoots with Spider-Man, and he's posing so Peter can get all this money, and Spider-Man can get free publicity. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad publicity, it's free publicity. And JJ wants to know. He wants to unmask Spider-Man for the world and show that he's a menace. And Gargan's like, I'm trying, JJ. And JJ's just like, you're a Schmiegel Man. And he's like, don't call me Schmiegel Man. Please, stop calling me names. And he's very Fredo-esque in this. Like, Matt Gargan, he's just a schmuck, chat. You know, he's like a 5'2" guy. He's disheveled. He's bald. And he's not great for Matt Gargan. Times are not going well for Matt Gargan. He's like, JT, people have been making fun of me my entire life. Mr. Jameson, please. I'm smart. I'm not dumb. I want respect. He's like, forget it. You're going to follow that Parker kid. And you're going to find this out. And Parker's like, fuck. Peter's legitimately mad. It's like, my boss paid a Schmiegel Man to spy on me. I'm going to have some words. But he's not as Peter Parker, but as Spider-Man. And so, chat, he dresses up as Spider-Man. He goes in there. And right when he's giving Matt Gargan the money, Spider-Man, he goes there and is like, I see that you hired a Schmiegel Man to spy on me. And Gargan's like, I'm going to step up and be brave. I'm going to fight against Spider-Man. And Spider-Man just fucking webs him, chat. He's like, web to the wall and shit. Can't do nothing. Money's ruined and everything. And he comes, like, Spider-Man, he's like, all right, fucking gloves are off, JJ. Like, stop. First of all, if I ever, then he's going to throw JJ off the trail. He's like saying, hey, if I ever see that Parker kid again taking photos of me, then there will be trouble, okay? And then it's like, you hearing me? You want that kind of trouble? And then, chat, JJ has a fucking flashback. He's like, trouble. And then we see a young J. Jonah Jameson, who's a beat reporter, chat, and his editor's saying, JJ, let it be. You don't want this trouble. And JJ's like, no. This crime boss is causing all sorts of violence. He's selling the drugs to the kids, guns and things. It's depravity all around. I'm not going to stop, boss. And then, chat, we see Jay's like, I remember that day. And then we see someone in a car in a mask, chat, and they shoot. And JJ's like, oh, yes, no trouble. And Spider-Man goes, good. I'll see you later when you finish your flashback. And Spider-Man leaves, chat. And then Robbie, he comes in. And he's like, JJ, what's going on? Everyone forgot about Matt Gargan. No one cares about Matt Gargan, chat. Oh, I'm smart. Scorpion. That's what he was doing. That's what he was doing. He was Fredo. I was like, I like this. This is a very cool character that they got. New reinterpretation of Matt Gargan. And so Matt Gargan, he's stuck to the fucking wall. Robbie comes in. Is Robbie coming in here at this point? No, that's later on. That's much later on, chat. We'll find out later why JJ had that flashback and his wife and shit and the mask gunman. All we know is that there was a flash. And did JJ get shot? Did his wife get shot? We don't know. And so JJ, he comes out of this flashback and he goes to Gargan. He's like, Gargan, do you want to get revenge? That's Spider-Man. You want to be, you want respect? And Gargan's like, I'll do anything with respect, Mr. Jameson. He's like, I know just the thing. And so the next day, chat, JJ, he sets up a meeting with Dr. Stillwell. Who he's given a lot of money to, funding for a big project, chat. It's something that we've actually covered before. It's for the DNA recombinator. It is returned, chat. The DNA recombinator that turned Dr. Kirk Connors into the Lizard. It's been repurposed by Dr. Stillwell and is now being used for all sorts of animal and human hybrid experiments. And so JJ's like, yeah, I gave this guy a bunch of money to fix the DNA recombinator that turned. There's a lizard man. People don't know his Dr. Carter. He was the lizard, by the way. You can become a new superhero to fight against Spider-Man. And that's what I got. And Dr. Stillwell, he doesn't give a shit about ethics. All he cares about is money. And we're going to do this to you. And Matt's like, fucking cool. Let's fucking do it. I want to be a Schmiegel Man all my life. He's like, no, you do not. And so they show the superpower suit that he has. It's going to be a scorpion. They put him in this very disheveled chap because he's a Schmiegel. And they got him right there. And Stillwell explains, yeah, I'm going to put the scorpion DNA and mix that with radiation, and we're going to make him a Scorpion Man. And Jada's like, cool, let's fucking do it. And they turn that DNA recombinator on, and Matt Gargan, he's like, I feel funny. Oh, jeez, what's happening to me? Someone explain something. And then Chad, he becomes buff, and he goes, JJ's like, yes, are you ready for your vengeance against Spider-Man? And Matt Gargan, his voice deepens, I am, JJ, I am. And then Chad, we find the next day, Spider-Man, he's just swinging around the city. He's feeling good about himself for talking down J. Jonah Jameson. And then all of a sudden, he gets attacked, Chad. It's the Scorpion. It's Matt Gargan. And then J. Jonah Jameson, he's in a helicopter just watching and filming all this shit. The takedown of Spider-Man, Chad. Also, we find out that apparently the natural enemy of the spider is the Scorpion. And so that's why it was picked in this case, Scorpion v. Spider. It's going to be Scorpion every time, apparently, Chad. And so now Spider-Man's like, who the fuck are you? And Matt Gargan's like, I'm going to get my goddamn respect, Spider-Man. The whole world will see I'm a better hero than you. And then they start wrestling, Chad. And Spider-Man, he gets his ass kicked. He's not doing too well. He got the web swing and everything, but Matt Gargan, he can jump really far and shit. And he's knocking down Spider-Man from his web swing, gets him onto a rooftop. I think eventually he knocks down like a water tower. He has like an acid. This is kind of cool. So he has like a little spike on his tail, which is very dangerous and, destroy buildings and everything, walls. Also has like an acid gun attached to his tail that sprays at shit. He's like, Spider-Man's like, boiling acid. So you want to avoid that. He sprays at a water tower. Water, Spider-Man's ultimate weakness, as we all know. Fucking crash lands on him. He's knocked out. And JJ's like, Mac, you goddamn giant Schmeagle Scorpion, go ahead and take his mask off. And Matt Gargan's like, I will do that. But then Matt Gargan going, whoa. And then for the sake of convenience for the plot, Chet, he goes, what's happening to me? I am a monster. The DNA of the Scorpion is continuing to evolve in his system, Chet. We got a Brundlefly situation here. He's becoming more Scorpion-like, more monstrous. He's like, I don't know what to do. I'm confused. And then instead of doing what he did to Scorpion, or the Spider-Man, he just runs away. He's like, I'm going to destroy the city. And he just starts destroying shit. He's using his tail to like go right through cops, Chat, like right through their tummies, acid melting, people's faces. It's like, JJ's like, I might have fucked up by giving Scorpion powers to a Schmeagle man. I'm going to go back to my office right now. I'm just going to go back to my helicopter pilot's like, yeah, you should go back to your office. Then he's getting off. He's like, I fucked up. And then Robbie walks in the room. He's like, did you create a Scorpion man? He's like, I might have created Scorpion man. That's true. And Robbie's like, why would you do it, Jonah? He's like, it's for my wife. And then we get the backstory for the flashback chat. I was a beat reporter back in the day. I was tracking this crime boss, and I wouldn't stop. Even though my editor said, you don't want trouble, Jonah, trouble came to me. But I wasn't the one who paid for it. It was my wife. The bullet that was meant for me, it hit her, and it killed her. And it was a masked man. And for the rest of my life, I'll keep this world, this city safe from men in masks. They're a menace, Robbie. And Robbie's like, you're an idiot. You gotta let that go, man. Listen, what happened to your wife was terrible. You were a good reporter, but you're basically the Fox News of Marvel. There's an issue here, Jay. You gotta fix it. He's like, no. And he's like, but then he keeps saying no. He's like, you know what, Robbie, you're right. I create a monster. I have to stop it. And then Spider-Man, when does Spider-Man show up? Not this point. Oh no, I think the Scorpion attacks. Does the Scorpion attack here? Yes. So the Scorpion goes, I'm back. And he fucking attacks. He fucking bashes Robbie out of the way. I think this might happen. I might just confusing the details. But he gets a hold of J. Jonah Jameson, and he's like, I'm gonna take vengeance on you. You're gonna fix me, JJ. And then he goes to Dr. Stillwell, chat, and Stillwell's like, listen, man, I don't know how to fix this. I should have listened. Dr. Connors was absolutely fucking right. This was a huge mistake. I'm sorry. Matt Gargan's like, that's not good enough. And he's like, can you fix me? He's like, I can't fix you. He's like, ah! And so he just continues. He fucks up Dr. Stillwell, chat, and acid the face, melting. He's like, he's dead. And then he goes hopping around the city. Spider-Man, he comes to. He's like, I gotta track down the Scorpion. This is not going well. And then eventually, Scorpion, he's like, I'm gonna go to the one place that could possibly fix me, Oscorp, because Scorpion, like, he's an idiot, Chad. He's a Schmeagle man, and so he thinks radiation can fix me. I'm gonna go to Oscorp. But apparently, he has a nuclear reactor at Oscorp, sure. And so I'm going to open it up and expose the whole city to radiation and create a Chernobyl situation, and the radiation will cure me. And JJ's like, you're a moron, Matt Gargan. That's not how it works. Matt Gargan's like, no, it'll work. And he goes there, chat. Spider-Man, he follows him there. And Matt Gargan, he's killing all the doctors and shit. He's piercing them, acid to the face, everything. Get JJ, he releases JJ. Always like, yeah, you're no use to me now. And so Matt Gargan's now trying to open nuclear reactor. Spider-Man shows up. He's like, what the fuck are you doing, you idiot? And then they start wrestling, chat. But the Scorpion, he's just so strong at this point. He keeps mutating. He's leveling up the entire time. And then at that point, but when fucking Spider-Man and JJ, they have their backs to each other. They listen, let's just call a truce. We have to stop him from this. And JJ says, you know what? I gotta stop this greater. You're an evil son of a bitch, Spider-Man. Even though you saved me, 4 times at this point in the series? Scorpion's a little bit more evil than you, so I'm gonna help you here. And Spider-Man's like, sounds good. And so Spider-Man, he fights the Scorpion and shit. And then eventually JJ, because the Scorpion opened up the reactor, it's about to go off, chat. It's like fucking Chernobyl. And JJ, he goes to the button, chat, stops the nuclear reactor, and Spider-Man, I guess he beats the shit out of the Scorpion at one point. I forget what he does. Maybe he electrocutes him, I think. Something happens. Matt Gargan, he falls over, chat. He's all fried up. And Spider-Man, he goes to JJ, wow, we worked really good together today, JJ. I guess, you won't do bad news about me. You won't put out that fake news in your paper. And JJ goes, fuck that, slaps Spider-Man's hands away. It's like, no, Scorpion may have been more evil than you, but I still don't trust you. You're still a menace, Spider-Man. You'll never get a positive word in my newspaper again. And so JJ, he walks off, and Spider-Man, he says, well, at this point, JJ should go to prison because he helped create a supervillain who destroyed part of New York City, murdered countless people, melted people, fucking, propelled a scorpion stinger through people's tummies and out their back chest. Like, JJ should face some jail time at the very least. Or at least pay something for all the... No, but no, he gets away with it. And Spider-Man's like, well, that fucking sucked. And he turns back into Peter Parker, chat. He's going to one of his night classes. But then who does he see pull up in her car? It's Felicia Hardy, chat. And Felicia Hardy, Peter, when you walked away from me last night, that was so fucking hot. I love it. Instead of, and Peter's like, oh, cool. That's kind of just like a sub-dominatrix kind of thing. That's neat. Hey, do you want to go to dinner with me? And she's like, I'll settle for lunch. And she drives off, chat. And Peter's like, yes, lunch sounds good. And that, chat, is Spider-Man the Animated Series Episode 6, The Sting of the Scorpion. I hope you enjoyed it. How does JJ? I don't know, man. He's Rupert Murdoch rich in this world. He's a billionaire. Because he's not only the editor of the paper, which he was in the original series. He owns the paper, yes, but he has a news network. I think he owns other businesses. He lives in like a multi-million-dollar penthouse. Like, he's doing very well for himself. So he's very much a Rupert Murdoch type of person in this world. I think that's what they based him off of. That's the only thing I can think about. That's the only thing I can think of, at least. I could be wrong. Yes. He's going to get an injection of UV light. Trump told me about the UV light. I need to drink all the bleach. But Scorpion, no, don't drink the... I'm drinking the bleach, Spider-Man. I'm fucking dead. He fucking drinks all the bleach. That would have been a good way. That would be perfect. That would have been a modern interpretation of this episode. Adaptation. That's what we need. Ron McNeil, welcome to the stream. What's this about? I don't know. As a Schmiegel man became a Scorpion, Spider-Man, JJ teamed up to beat him, man. That's how it is. Oh my god. Alright. With that, chat, we're going to go ahead and jump in the review. Let me just go ahead and kind of freshen my beverages a little bit. Or not my review, Jesus. The gameplay. We're going to jump into Final Fantasy VII Remake, chat. So let me just go ahead and freshen this up one more time. We'll continue on. Please entertain yourselves amongst yourselves. I shall return. Bleach. I'll drink the bleach, Spider-Man. No, Scorpion.